Bruce and
Sab.
Sab and their children. So, anyone else here that I missed? Of your family, that is.
Russ is on the way. He called for directions right when we were out the door, so he should be here.
I've got a few items here to present with you this morning, Darwin. In lieu of flowers, you chose a gift certificate, so there that is. We have a portfolio of letters here from your many co-workers, friends, and one by Mr. Rust, I think, says it best. Personally, on behalf of the companies, I want to say congratulations and thanks for more than 30 years of service you have contributed to the State Farm organization. I'm sure you'll find this in the years to come some memories. I will. Enjoy. Thank you. And I got one other item. We have a box for that here. We'll give you so I don't get scratched some more. I didn't think he was old enough to retire until I saw this. Then I realized he must be old enough.
All right, well, I guess
very good portrait.
They did the best with what they have.
That's right. My personal thanks for your contribution to this. And with that, you don't get to talk yet. We're going to make you be last. You get the last word, okay? And you may want it. I'm going to turn the program over to Paul and let him go from there.
All right.
Thank you, Darwin.
Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, there, Darwin.
Be kind.
Okay. Well, you know, someone's last day, it's kind of the time to even things all out a little bit and really set the record straight. Well, you know, for 14 years that I've worked for you, Darwin, many times I go up to the cafeteria for breakfast in the morning and eat breakfast there with Gene Broom and Lauren Miller and John Anderson. And they always accuse me of, because I always liked my coffee a little cooler, I wouldn't drink my coffee right at that time. So I'd head out of the cafeteria with a cup of coffee in my hand, and they said, "Oh, that's Darwin's coffee, is that right?" I said, No, that's mine. Well, I've been accused of this for 14 years, Darwin. Here's a cup for you today. Cream and sugar, I think it's the way you like it. So, Mike, how do you drink your coffee? We have just a few other people that'd like to say something this morning, too, and next one's going to be Kay here.
I didn't want you to get out of the habit. I know you've had your work cut out for you for the last 12 and a half years. So I got you a supply of red pens, and you can start working on the pantograph instead of all of our correspondence.
All the spellings and all
All the spellings and all the commas they forget, and you'll find a few.
Thank you.
Hopefully a few more than I have found. Congratulations.
Spend 5 minutes at doing this.
Well, I'll take those off your hands, Darwin. But really, one of the key things that Darwin has passed on to all of us in the Loss Reserve Unit through the last however many years are some of the tools of the trade. And Karen and Barb just want to share with all of your friends some of these tools.
We just didn't want to give you these tools of the trade, so we have got a little help from our cube mate. Dave wrote us a poem for these tools of the trade. We went to college and started our math, added some accounting to prepare our career path. But when playing Monopoly, we never thought twice about gainful employment from throwing these dice.
Thank you. Are they loaded? Got to play the odds.
They worked for this many years.
Then we came out of school and dedicated our lives to be good employees, husbands, and wives. So as our career has in steps moved forward, we pondered in depth why we needed this kind of dartboard. On the back side it has other play golf, retire, see your analyst.
I think it's a retirement.
Thank you.
Pretty much go hold something for him.
Midnight oil in great quantity we have burned. To set reserves, offers of parties we've spurned. At frequencies, severities, costs we did look. In the end, using this Ouija board instead of a book.
Thank you.
And last, since you started here, great leaps in technology. Halley's Comet twice blocked holes in astrology. Things all considered, one thought still lingers. Take home this old calculator with holes for the fingers.
Always calculator. Does it have a memory? All right, thank you. Speculated. Great.
And although Karen and I have only worked here a short time compared to some of the rest of them, we have to appreciate the guidance you've given us, and it's been real interesting.
Fine, other people will call
I
that
said
thanks.
that, yes.
Thank you, Karen.
Some people from some of the other units kind of wanted to get into the act, and Dick Vanderbosch said something about, who's the real winner, Darwin? Where's Dick at?
He promised to get even already, just yesterday. Welcome to the party, Dale.
Darwin, I promise that I'll keep this on a serious vein. I really have enjoyed my association with you, and some of the needling that's gone back and forth from time to time that has kept things in perspective. And that's probably the last good thing you're going to hear from me. I have a story that I'd like to tell about Darwin. It really is outside of State Farm and involves the racket club. Darwin and I earlier in the year we play on the same evening on Tuesday evenings, and we were in the locker room getting ready for tennis. And Darwin and I were needling each other about our tennis prowess, and one thing led to another, and pretty soon we had a challenge established to see who was the best tennis player. So Darwin goes, Darling. That's what we call him on the court. We decided we needed some type of a wager to make this really true to Darwin's style. So Darwin put on the line a property that he has in Florida. I think it's Kingsway Country Club in Port Charlotte. And I put on the line my newly acquired van. And we went off onto the court and we played our tennis. After the tennis, an hour and a half, which is quite an extensive period, we came back to the locker room, and obviously it was a Mexican standoff. Darwin said he won, I said I won, and we were getting nowhere. Well, Darwin plays in a different group than I do, so we decided we would leave it up to the other players in our group to decide who the winner really was. Darwin's players had abandoned him. They had gone home. One player was there, and he said that Darwin played okay. My group was all there, and they said Dick played outstanding tennis, and he's the winner of the match. As you know, Darwin does not like to lose. He gets bitter, he gets adamant, he swore up and down that I would not get his property. However, I took it, and I have enjoyed it for the entire year. I've been there several times. But Darwin, I don't want you to leave on a low note. I don't want you to be a loser. I want you to be a winner. So there are two things that I've decided to do for you. One is that I promise never to tell this story again. But the other, Darwin, is that I decided that I would unofficially, redeed your property in Florida back to you. However, there are some things that you need to know. It's changed a little bit since you were last there. There's been a problem with water level on the golf course. It's been underwater for most of the summer. However, they have rectified that. They have voted that they would establish a draining system that would take the water off the course into the nearest county and would deposit it there. Well, ironically, Darwin's lot is number 13 on the course, but it is in the next county. So the water was deposited there, and the course is in fine shape. Now, the bad news, Darwin, is that there's 3 feet of water on your property, and the value is depreciated considerably. But the good news is that the fishing's great. There's your new deed, Darwin.
Thank you, sir. That's the best story I've heard all day.
We even have a few other departments represented here, Darwin. Dale Nelson from Auto Actuary.
Good morning, Dale.
I think as most of you are aware, Darwin has been practicing without a license for several years now. Everybody knows that loss reserving should be done by actuaries. remedy that situation, I've prevailed on the powers to be, and I'm very pleased and honored to present on behalf of the CAS this very handsome diploma, so to speak, or use it for target practice. For the benefit of the others, let me read it. This certifies that Darwin Hany is qualified as a casual actuary, all the rights and privileges granted thereto. Among the rights is that of reserving opinions on any and all matters. And this plus Buck will probably get you a cup of coffee. Darwin,
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Well, I'm getting all kinds of official documents here. Can we still frame all those down? Are we still?
Well, Darwin, a lot of us know that you're looking for a PC. And I know one of the consultants that you've been using is Steve Brewer. So he has some very good advice and help for you here this morning.
The last few years I've observed an interesting phenomenon. That is that everybody over 60 seems to always be going to the restroom around here. But then I found out why. It wasn't because they were needing to go to the restroom so much as that when they grew up they never had running water. They just like to go in there and flush a toilet all the time. And I say that just to let you have an idea of what it's like when they get new technology like computers. You never understand them. Darwin's pulled me into his office several times asking me questions. He says he's wanting to get a new computer when he goes home, but he never understands the one that's on his desk. So our unit got together and decided to purchase him a computer that he'd be able to understand. So Darwin, this has its own drawstring, so if you get confused, you can pull that and get all the right answers. I'll let you pull it. Now all I have to do is figure out how to get it back in.
You're right if I call you later.
It's been enjoyable working with you,
Thank you.
Don Blessing happens to be here. Don's got a few comments about try to remember something here, Darwin.
East and West Wing. I guess, Darwin, we've known each other for close to 25 years. A lot of card games, a lot of golf outings, a lot of golf together. More recently, we've been neighbors. And I could tell a lot of stories about all those events, but we're gonna try to limit this to memory today, or more correctly, lack of memory. Okay? Well, I'm going to lean it towards your way, okay? You're a little older than I am, Darwin, and I know people of your age tend to lose their memory. You know, they tend to forget, at least most of us, when we mature, tend to forget the little things. Well, somebody already alluded to the fact that Darwin's a very competitive guy. You know, he hates to lose. He wants to win at golf. He wants to win at cards. He wants to be just a little bit better than the rest of us. Well, when it comes to losing his memory, he wants to lose his memory on big things, important things, not the little incidental things, okay? Things that make an impact. To illustrate the story a little bit, a few years ago, Darwin had joined us in a golf outing down in Houston. And we were, does this ring a bell? We're starting to remember a little bit?
Can we get I don't want to. I tried to forget.
All right. Anyway, it was the last day of our outing. We were on our way home. And our golf resort was, about an hour away from the airport. And we needed to stop and drop off a rental car at the rental car agency. This was one of our economy golf outings, and this particular rental car agency didn't have space at the airport. So we needed to take the car back to this guy's garage or wherever it was. I think Foster arranged for this rental car, and we've since fired him. But the rental car agency, was about 20 minutes away from the airport just. We got that all settled, and one of the car rental agency people was taking it back to the airport. We got back on Interstate 45, heading back down towards the airport, and we're all a little concerned about the time. You know, we're running out of time here, and we came to a traffic tie-up right on the freeway. It just stopped right on the freeway. Well, we're sitting there, and we're all kind of concerned about the time. We've got, these great tickets that are non-refundable, and thinking that we may have to pay a full fare to get back home. And all of a sudden, out of the back seat, this excruciating noise came out. And my God, I've lost my airline tickets. Well, we turned around and we noticed Darwin back here. Blood had completely drained from his face. Sure enough, Darwin had lost his airline tickets. And we're trying to help, where has he lost him? Has he lost him at the golf course? Has he lost him at the rental car agency? What has happened here? And being all good friends of Darwin's, our first thought was, let's shove him out of the car and let him find his own. We got to make this plain, right? I did volunteer, when I got home to call Jean and let her know approximately where on I-45 we saw you last. Anyway, bottom line to this story is that we did find his tickets back at the car rental agency, and got to the airport and got home okay, and everything was fine. But an example of the big memory loss. Now, to help Jean in the future, because Jean's going to have to put up with you in the future. And in order to help you remember a little bit better in the future, we thought we'd get you this safety pin, which Jean can attach little notes to, and future airline tickets. Anything to help, but that'll help you on your way in the future, and congratulations.
Well, I appreciate that. Give it to me earlier.
As most of you know, Mike Tillman will be taking Darwin's place, and Mike would like to say a few words at this time too. Mike.
Thanks, Darwin. I've chased Darwin around the company for a number of years, and I finally caught up with him. So. No, it's been a pleasure knowing you all these years and working for you and with you. And I do have a couple of gifts. As Don has talked about, a couple of Darwin's favorite pastimes is golf and playing cards. And as a matter of fact, if I would have kept all the money that I've lost to Darwin over the years and put it in mutual funds, I could have retired today with him. So, but yes, it would have. Yeah, I'd help you. I know that's why it's a few days early. I understand that. Darwin's always been looking for the big game, and it's not because he's been running around with not a full deck. It's because he's been using the wrong deck. So Darwin, when you finally find that big game, here's the right deck to use.
Thank you. I get older and harder to see.
Right.
Thank you.
I also have something else for you. The other thing that you like to do, of course, is play golf. I was out at your house a couple of weeks ago. You didn't know about it, but I was rummaging around in the in the golf bag, and I happened to run across, and Gene verified this, that this is the first golf ball that Darwin ever hit. And I found out why he's been so lucky. He's been using the same ball for the last however many years you've been playing golf.
Saved a lot of money.
And you have saved a lot of money. Well, I glued it down on this block of wood so he couldn't use it anymore, and I did retire it. It does have a retirement date of December 31st, 1991. Also the first golf tee, but you can still use a golf tee.
Okay, thank you.
But I don't want to change your luck, and I've got you a new one here for the next however many years. It says Hany number 2.
Thank you, Michael.
So have fun.
Thank you.
We have another golfing buddy over here, Jerry Hillhouse. Jerry?
Well, good morning, Jerry. God, I've waited a long time. When Paul invited me down here, Darwin, to participate today, he assured me that no matter what I said, he'd not be allowed any rebuttal. Pay attention. I think everyone knows Darwin and I have been long-time golfing buddies. In fact, probably more than 25 years we've played together regularly. We've each had our glorious moments and then some not so glorious. Everyone knows what a great needler Darwin can be. I've got something here I'm going to attach to my golf bag so that after you move down to Razorback country, we want all of your golfing buddies to remember you. I might need to use this on Piersky or Blessing or one of your other golfing buddies. Just as a So reminder. I'm going to keep that and You wear, John. preserve it for posterity. Also, in your advancing years, it may become more and more difficult to keep that needle sharp. I've got something here I want you to take along with you to help keep a sharp point on that needle.
Okay.
We want all of your new friends down in Hot Springs Village to know the real Darwin Hany.
Hone my skills.
We all wish you and Jean the best of health and much happiness in your retirement.
Jerry's going to do it next year, so do I get the opportunity to kind of get my rebuttal then?
No,
6
no
months?
rebuttal.
Well, all of the members of the Loss Reserve Unit know what it's like working for Darwin, but we'd like to hear from one of his ex-bosses what type of an employee Darwin was. Bob Hurl?
Well, I really came down to apologize because I taught Darwin everything he knows. It's true. In 1957, I was in the Champaign claim office, and they sent Darwin down to learn about handling claims. And Darwin followed me around, and I remember thinking at the time, this guy doesn't know anything at all. And we came back to the office, and here is our boss, John Kurtok, sitting there. I said, Kurtok, what are you doing here? I've been down here a year and a half. I've never even seen you. Why are you here? He said, I'm here to bring Hany his 5-year length of service award. 5 years? I said, you didn't learn anything. Where were you? Well, it turns out 4 of those years he was in the service, and so he got this length of service credit. So 12 years later, I'm in charge of the Metro Illinois Division. In 1969, you remember when we lost $92 million? That was the company. That was it. And so in 1970, I'm looking around, and we're still not doing well, and I look at the figures. Oh, well, here's the problem. The reserves are killing us. And I look in the book. Who's in charge of reserves? Darwin Hany, my old buddy. So, hell, this is going to be a snap. And I pick up the phone and I said, Darwin Hany? Hey, Darwin, this is Bob Merhurl, your old buddy. M-E-C-H. He doesn't know me from what are you doing to these reserves? And he's, I don't care about Pennsylvania. What's it got anything to do with Pennsylvania? I'm in Illinois. He's talking about widows and orphans in Pennsylvania needing the money he's taken out of. So, in 1971, we start making money in Metro, and we're making a lot of money. And I said, you know, we're going to have no fault in 1972 in Illinois. Now, you may not remember this, Darwin, but 1970, we were going to be the first no fault. Subsequently, it was declared unconstitutional, but we didn't know that at the time. So, in December, I'm calling him up, wanting to, take some of this money back because we don't know what we're going to run into. And so I'm calling him up, talking to him, Darwin, don't be giving me all this money. I heard from those widows and orphans in Pennsylvania, and they need money. And then he's talking something about Colorado, and they got to ship some out there. So, and finally Darwin says, do you realize in less than a year we have gone 180 degrees on this reserve thing? So after teaching him everything I knew, he turned around and turned it on me when I was in charge of Metro Illinois. So you're hearing the experience now of somebody who got it on the receiving end from Hany. And I finally remember just saying, no, okay, Darwin, no, it's not Meckerly, it's Merhurl, but just call me Bob.
Most of the generation, because Bob is also leaving next year. I don't know. It's catching, it's contagious. Be careful, everybody. You heard a little bit about the tools of the trade, but really some of the real technical aspects of the Loss Reserve Unit, Roland wants to explain to the rest of the group.
Well,
Bring it, Roland.
one of the longest employees of Darwin has 15 years I've worked for Darwin, and I probably got a lot of stories I could tell, but probably have to pass on the most embarrassing story that Darwin. It was my first opportunity to accompany Darwin up to the Loss Reserve Committee, which was held in the Board of Directors room, and everybody was seated around the table. And Darwin had a habit at that time of putting some rather sensitive, confidential numbers on the blackboard. And at the end of the meeting, with everybody still seated, he says, Roland, would you erase the board? Well, Rolly Marston got up and started erasing the board.
Didn't think I'd last this long.
Bob taught Darwin everything he knew. Darwin taught me everything he knew. One of the concepts Darwin had a real problem with, and to this day still bothers Darwin, is we take all this time to set reserves, and then in certain situations we have to seed them off. And Darwin says, you mean we take these reserves and we seed them and they just go off the end of the table? And we say, yeah, that's right. Always bother Darwin. Well, Darwin, no longer will this be a bother to you, because we have now established the end of the table insurance company. Okay? Established as of December 31st, 1991, so it's effective this year yet. And we have a CEO, Darwin, chairman of the board, Darwin, and president.
I'd rather, how about treasurer?
So all of these seeded reserves we're going to send to you.
I won't worry about
and
those a moment longer. Very unique, thank you. These stories always come back to haunt.
One last thing is, we have a time capsule here. And Darwin was always an advocate of tying our salary in the reserve unit to how well we establish the reserves. Now, his theory was, though, if our reserves are redundant, and we all know Darwin with the heavy thumb, he figured his salaries would be redundant. Well, we're going to put that to a test. In this time capsule here, we have Darwin's last 1991 picks, or his reserve estimates. Now the problem is, it won't be for another 5 years before we know if they're accurate. So this thing is sealed until 1296. And in here are his last evaluations and his last paycheck. So in 5 years, Darwin, this will be sent to you.
Would you give me a penalty? Do I get to keep it?
No. Because you might change it. Darwin, it's been a real pleasure, Darwin.
Thank you, Ron. It's been great work. Unique situations.
What would it be without John DePersky to say a few comments, Darwin?
He's been lurking out there.
I forgot what I was going to say now.
Good morning.
Darwin, congratulations. It's been a long time coming. A long time coming for this, too. I have been saving this for many years. You've all heard here about how competitive Darwin is in his contests. He hates to lose. Well, that competitiveness extends beyond the contest. I've had a couple of occasions over the years where I've been fortunate enough to come out ahead of Darwin in a little contest of golf or whatever. One time I won $1 from him. Another time I won $2. Well, do I get the last laugh? No. Darwin's payoff, on the first occasion, a ragged, torn dollar bill, which he will remember. The second occasion, one of those despicable $2 bills, which he refused to carry with him, became mine. Thanks a lot, Darwin. And what I'm going to do with this,
Put the time gap.
I'm going to pass this on to Darwin now in front of all these witnesses. I'm prepaying you $3 for the next time I lose a bet to you. Thank you. There you are.
Darwin, I think you invented this red tag so it speed things up in our unit, so we wanted to get you a retirement gift. So we got it through the loss reserve unit in a hurry, and we didn't quite have enough money in there, so we kind of sent it down to financial statements. And you can see everybody there did contribute and everything. The problem was, we got all this money, then we couldn't agree on what color the gift we should get. So Darwin, here, you can pick out whatever color you want. On a more serious note, Darwin, here's a couple of gift certificates for you on behalf of the unit and that. And you can put those in your pocket if you want.
I know somebody who'd like those. Okay, here, I'll take them.
There you go. Give them to the girls. And I think we're about out of time, and you don't have any time for rebuttal, Darwin. I'm sorry.
I need to get some of these people. Well, thank you, Paul. I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
Anything to say?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll give you 30 seconds.
All right. I really have appreciated working at State Farm. Just seeing all you friends and associates around here just reminds me of all the good times that we've had around. So it's been a pleasant, long time, 38 years and so forth, and I've enjoyed it. So thanks for showing up. I will get back occasionally and maybe have a cup of coffee with some of you, but I appreciate your showing up and taking the time to join me here in this last day. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. We got refreshments, breakfast up on, well, not up on, right down the hallway, so I'd appreciate it if you join me there. Going down there.
He wasn't going to be there, and of course he was very, family very prominent in,
You do?
in
Well,
Tuscaloosa.
we'll work you in then. Are you going to be around town for a while?
Yeah, we're going to take a westerly swing.
Oh, is that? Yeah, I say back in high school days, we were, well, there was a group of us, about 6 of us, always got together and big basketball. He was the athletic type.
You can use that. I haven't seen much of that.
Thank you, Father.
We were always,
How are you?
the name was basketball.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. How are you?
I guess I'll have to
Then after we left high
You know, I was going to kind of give you a call.
Yeah.
About the, no, we're available for a couple of weeks. 17th is our first. Going to miss the convenience of the money. Get enough cake, the muffins.
Yep,
And orange juice.
They have their sugar and tea.
It won't go there. The pocket's sewn shut.
Don't walk in there, Mr. Bag.
Okay, just leave it there.
Okay, we'll do it. Okay. Next year.
Okay, all right.
Hi, Ethan. How you doing?
Shh, I'm taking it.
Oh, well, I'm older guy.
It's fine.
If you mount the pedal, then the pedal stands.
We can come down the office.
Stop in and see us.
How they do that? I have to check with the mutual fund people back here every once in a while.
Quickly. Come on.
Sit down for a spell.
Right there. We'll get a ceremony of them taking that down.
Where was, I think you're going to have cake at your party tonight.
Is that big certificate back yet? This is that actuarial certificate. We better take that one.
Okay,
It's the last day.
Oops.
Ending spot
That
there.
was easy.
All right,
At
here
least it's not bolted on.
well, maybe I should have done that.
Huh?
Here we go.
There it is. There's the office. Yeah. Go ahead and grab yours real quick.
I already have the key. Put it upside down. I have the key.
You got the key.
There we go.
Charlotte, now run him out. I've got to stay here and make sure. I got to stay here and make sure he doesn't take the BC with him.
Oh.